Are you still interested in some early aviation articles? I hope so, because in this episode of Tony's Short Stories, we're returning to 1912. The article Aviation in the Italian Army by W.E. Whittaker, published in the Aeroplane on January 4, 1912, discusses the growing significance of airplanes in military operations. At a time when aviation was still in its infancy, several European nations, including Italy, demonstrated strategic foresight by recognizing the potential of airplanes for military purposes. As highlighted in the article, this foresight was a significant step towards the future of military operations. The article also provides early evidence of the practical utility of aircraft in combat, a vital argument of the article. The article underscores the pivotal role of Italian aviators in the Italo-Turkish War. This conflict provided the first substantial proof of the airplane's value in a military context. Despite the challenging conditions in Tripoli, these aviators, with their unwavering courage and dedication, successfully conducted reconnaissance flights and bombings, providing critical intelligence to Italian commanders. Pilots such as Gavotti, Piazza, and Moiso, alongside volunteers like Manicero, Rugerone, and Cagno, played essential roles of aerial scouting. Their personal stories of bravery and sacrifice bring a human element to the historical narrative. While Italy's dirigibles were less successful due to damage sustained, their airplanes operated effectively. By the end of 1910, Italy's military aviation capabilities included 10 airplanes and 2 dirigibles. Over the next year, the Italian Army expanded its aerial fleet, integrating aviation as a core military branch. Organizationally, the Italian War Office established a dedicated aviation department, granting significant autonomy to officers managing aviation camps. The article also reflects on the broader European attitudes towards aviation, noting some countries' resistance to traditional military leadership. Well, that's enough of me rambling. Enjoy this week's article.
Aviation in the Italian Army by W.E. Whittaker, published in the Aeroplane magazine, January 4, 1912. For some time past, it has become increasingly evident that the principal effective use of aeroplanes would be for military purposes. 3 or 4 European nations have recognized this and, as is well known, have formed aerial fleets of considerable size. Great Britain even is showing signs of awakening from the sleep of centuries, and of realizing that because an idea is new, it is not necessarily either unsound or dangerous. In the contest between Italy and Turkey can be found the first definite proof of the value of the aeroplane in war, and that too under rather unfavorable conditions. A tropical climate has not been considered previously suitable for flying, and yet in Tripoli, the Italian military aviators have been making flights on most days of the week over a district within a 15 to 20-mile radius of the advanced posts. Generals Bricola and Frugoni, commanding respectively at Benghazi and Tripoli, testify to the accuracy of the information brought to them by their aerial scouts. In action, the aviators, if one is to believe reports, have actually dropped bombs with considerable effect. So far no accident has yet occurred other than such slight breakages as would take place on the average aerodrome. No officer pilot has been captured by the Turks or the Arabs. Until a few weeks ago, the principal aerial scouting has been carried out by the regular military aviators Gavotti, Piazza, and Moiso, but lately several volunteers have been employed, apparently with great success, at Derna and at Terbruk, among them being Manicero, Ragerone, and Cagno. The small Italian dirigibles, 3 of which have been sent to the seat of war, have so far done nothing, owing to the total destruction of their sheds a few days back. It will be interesting to observe how far these vessels carry out the expectations of those who believe in such things. Even if the dirigibles should apparently succeed, it should be remembered that the enemy possesses no aeroplanes with which to make an effective defense against or attack on them. At the end of 1910, the Italian Army possessed 10 aeroplanes, mostly biplanes of the Farman type, besides 2 dirigibles, and was treating the whole aerial question experimentally. Today, aviation has as definite a place in the Army as artillery or cavalry. No divisional nor brigade commander has it in his power to do anything really harmful to the expansion of the new arm, which is, in fact, more highly favored at the moment than any other branch of the Italian service. In the War Office at Rome, there is a separate department under an inspector of the Aeronautical Services, Colonel Morris, who has entire control of military aviation. Under him is a special brigade commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Motta, in whose hands lies the active control of the different sections of the aerial fleet. Lieutenant Colonel Motta is responsible to Colonel Morris, who, in his turn, reports to the Minister of War. The brigade is divided into 4 separate sections as follows. 1. A collection of companies dealing with wireless telegraphy, aeronautical details, etc. 2. The section of aviation under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Cordero di Montegronello. There are at present 3 military aviation camps at Soma Lombardia in Ticino and at Avagno and Pordenone in Friuli. 3 others are in the process of formation. Each camp is under the command of an officer pilot who deals directly with headquarters on all important matters. Such things as repairs, construction, alterations, etc. he may do in the workshops erected on the grounds without submitting any request to Rome. Considerable latitude is allowed these officers, which, under the present conditions of aviation, is at least advisable. Great harm may result from stupid restrictions imposed by senior officers whose sole conception of an aeroplane is as of something entirely mythical, a cross between a parachute and a kite, fitted with an engine, of great danger, and only of use to accelerate promotion, and that too in the junior ranks only. Even in France, aviation has suffered from this. At Nancy, a few months ago, 2 officers, after descending from long flights, were ordered by a somewhat unintelligent superior officer to practice equitation for an hour or 2, so that they might not forget how to ride. Such treatment is not encouraging. Italy has at present 40 aeroplanes and as many officer pilots. This number is being added to daily. All the aeroplanes in use in the Italian Army are of French construction, though I understand the government intends to build machines as soon as sufficient experience is gained. 3. The dirigible section, under the command of Commander Scalpi, Royal Italian Navy. This section has control over the sheds at Venice, Verona, Ferrara, Vigna di Valle, and Tripoli. It has at present 3 dirigibles of 4,500 cubic meters capacity and has in the course of construction 3 of 12,000 cubic meters. It is to be hoped that Italy will pause a little before committing herself to great expense in the construction of these vessels. 4. The factory, under the command of Major Petrucci and Captains Crocco and Ricaldoni. This factory is at present used entirely for the construction of balloons, dirigible and otherwise. Probably at a later date, aeroplanes will be built here. It is not quite clear in what manner these different sections work together, why the first section should consist of several services not really connected with each other is inexplicable. One would imagine these details should be treated as such and be in the relation of divisional troops to a division. But nevertheless, the organization seems excellent and is certainly capable of easy expansion. It is an ill wind that blows nobody any good, and the war in Tripoli has certainly been of considerable use to aviation, in that not only has it shown the practical utility of the aeroplane as a scout and as a weapon, but is, at the moment, testing the machinery of the organization which controls the fourth arm. For much of the above information, I am indebted to that excellent French paper Le Matin, which sets an example to all British papers in the attention it gives to aviation, both civil and military.
It is truly exciting to witness the evolution of aviation from its humble beginnings in the 19th century to the advanced technology we have today. It's almost like having access to a time machine, visiting distant eras while knowing the outcome or timeline unknown to the ones I'm visiting, and to think the same will be said to the one looking into my past 100 years from now, coming full circle. Thanks again for reading, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.